Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
All right. I
All
see
right.
you. Go ahead, Shelly.
Are people jumping on? Let me see. You see?
Yes, yes,
All right.
definitely. People are coming in.
Awesome. Awesome.
Let
So
us know.
welcome. Yeah, welcome, everybody. And thanks so much for taking the time to join us today for our deep dive. Natalie and I are so excited for this month's deep dive. We're going to be talking to you today about how to wow your clients with online programs using Practice Better. So we have on the deep dive the wonderful co-founder and CEO of Practice Better, Natalie.
Hello.
And I'm Shelly, our business success coach. And I don't know about you, Natalie, but programs, that is one of my favorite features in the platform. I love it. So I'm super excited about today's deep dive. So we're going to be talking about how to use programs in Practice Better and what, things like what's the difference between a fixed date or an evergreen program, how to set the programs up, how to keep your participants engaged with things like the group chat or broadcast messages, how to set up automation so you can enroll, participants in the program automatically, and how you can reuse material so that you don't have to keep developing the programs over and over. You can reuse what you've already created and practice better.
Yeah, and this is such a hot topic. We love talking about programs because there are so many really awesome ways that you can use programs, whether you're working with clients, with the traditional one-to-many, which is what we typically think about when we're talking about programs. But even if you're working with clients one-on-one, they're really, really awesome resources that you can use to help support your clients while you're working with them one-on-one. So we're excited to jump into those, show you how to do the program, how to build a program, show you all the different features and additional tools that you can use within the program to help support yourself, take some stuff off of your plate, and then your client, help them as well.
Yeah, awesome. So how many of you, if you can put into the chat, how many of you are running a program already in Practice Better or thinking about creating or running a program? Just put me in the chat.
Not yet, but really want to. Me, almost done setting up the program. Thinking of it, not yet. Me, thinking about it. Me, thinking about it. Oh my goodness. All right. So for those of you who are in the chat, you're seeing that this is a hot topic, like we said, and it's on so many people's minds. Whether you're at that stage where you're ready to launch a program, you're already running your program, or still, thinking about what your program might look like. I think it'll give you a good idea of how you might want to structure your program if you don't have your program yet. Sometimes we might have a program in our back pocket that we're waiting to use, but we don't necessarily know how we want to deliver it. So it'll be good for those of you who are not already using Practice Better for your programs to see how you can use it. And for those who are already using it for their programs, it'll be good for you to make sure that you're really taking advantage of all of the functionality that's available to you.
Yeah, so I mean, before we dive into all the details, just a quick, why do you want to offer programs and why do you want to build them in Practice Better? So these program features, they allow you to share your knowledge and expertise with more clients at once. So you're trying to scale your business, you're an expert at what you're doing, you want to get that information out to more clients, and it's kind of hard if you're just working with everybody one-on-one. So the features in Practice Better make delivering content and coaching clients all available from the same secure platform that you already trust. So it's great for practitioners and coaches working with clients one-on-one, just to support the coaching that you're doing, maybe to offload some of the education or just to keep them engaged. But it's also great if you're doing groups, so one-to-many, so that you can work with more people and impact more people's health. than you can just one-on-one. So a few of the many things that you can do with the Practice Better program. So you can do things like assign module-specific tasks, which then are stored as part of your client's health record. So that's one of the benefits of having the programs module within the platform versus, using a different system for your program or course. So you can assign tasks and goals to a module. You can also attach forms and worksheets. So if you have any intake forms, assessments, goal setting, things like that, you can attach it right to the module, and you've already built it in Practice Better, so you don't have to build it again somewhere else. So you'll also have all the supporting resources that you may already be using with your clients, like the food and mood journal, lifestyle journals, chat, secure chat. You can upsell services and add-ons. So if you're, selling your coaching services, grocery store tour, different services that you have, you can use the program for them to get to know you, kind of a lead-in to sell services and add-ons. You can include sessions, so you can bundle your program with individual sessions into a package, so they kind of get the best of both worlds. You can also track your client's progress to see if they're staying on track with the program. If they're not, you can check in with them right in the same platform, just to motivate them, find out what their challenges are. And then the program's accessible from the same place. So this lends to a better client experience because they're not having to log into multiple platforms.
Yeah. And I just want to piggyback off that because, Shelley, that's exactly it. And this is what our users were telling us before we had this functionality here as well. They wanted a place that they could do their coaching and keep all of their stuff securely in one place, but they also wanted the same for their clients. So there are some really great programs out there, e-course programs that we're familiar with, like Thinkific and Teachable and that sort of thing. And they're great programs.
Yeah.
If you don't plan on working with the participants in any capacity, really, if you want to work with your clients as well, the people who are coming through the programs, you want to give them an idea. Maybe it's a low barrier program that it's affordable. Sorry, it's affordable in a really great way to show your clients what it might be to work with you, and you're hoping to upsell them, like Shelley mentioned, onto your one-on-one services or a bigger program. So if you plan on having any sort of interaction with the participants of a program, it would be easier for yourself to manage, and then easier for your clients as well to access if it's all in one place. And then, of course, if you're going to do any one-on-one coaching, the idea is that the fewer places we have to send our clients to, and the fewer places that you have to log into, the smoother the experience will be for everyone, and the easier it will be for them to continue working with you.
Yeah, and then they can just really focus on the material and what they're getting out of the program instead of getting distracted by ads or other things, that can distract them from the actual program.
Exactly. So we have two types of programs, right? Yeah. Shelley, you want to break them down?
Yeah. So I'm sure you've heard of the two different types. There's the fixed date, and then there's the evergreen. So we get a lot of questions like, what is the difference? So think of fixed date as like you have, a group of people, you're all going to be going through the program at the same time. So the program's going to run from a start date, you're going to pick the date, and it's going to finish on an end date. So let's say you have a 4-week program, you're going to have those modules, 4 modules, or you're going to set it to unlock at a specific date. So, so think of like, every week and on Wednesday, it's going to open on that date. Okay. So the evergreen program, now you can have groups of people going through that, but it's really more of, like an e-course where somebody can just sign up at any time. And then the modules, if you are going to drip the modules, those are going to unlock or open based on when the participant enrolls. So if you say, they enroll in the program, they're going to get the welcome module, 1 minute after they enroll. They're going to get module 1, 1 day after they enroll, and maybe every day they get a new module, or every week, however you want to set that. And then you can also have modules that are just open, that they can access right away if you want to put materials in there. So an example of each, like for the fixed date, could be a group program or a challenge, like a 10-day seasonal, winter, spring, type of challenge that you can actually just keep duplicating and changing the season. An evergreen program could be like an 8-week, healthy gut e-course, or healthy shopping, some type of course that could go along with some of your coaching. So those are 2 different examples of the fixed date and the evergreen.
Yeah. So what we'll do is I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what it looks like in Practice Better to build a program, and show you the different functionalities available. I wanted to mention, Wilma here says she says she's been using the programs very differently, and I just want to mention this because it just shows there are so many different ways you can use the programs. We're going to talk about how to use them in some of the common ways that we see and some of the common scenarios we hear about. But Wilma here has a really great example of using the programs outside of that, and there's no wrong way. That's a really cool thing. There's no wrong way. So I love to see, I'd love to share with you guys how she's sharing, or she's using the program. So I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here. So she says, I use it for getting forms signed, making modules available along with tasks and journals between my in-person or in Zoom classroom sessions, sessions of a couple different workshops. So they're all fixed date, but I use Evergreen to sign up folks for a wait list. So she says, I'm not sure if I'm using it in the best way. If it's working, you're using it in the best way. That's really cool. I hadn't thought of using the programs like that. So it's really cool to me to hear how you are using that. So thank you for sharing that. All right, so I'm going to turn my camera off, and I'm going to share with you my screen, and then we're going to see what this looks like. All right. Perfect. All right. Can you let us know in the chat if you can see this? This being my screen. Yes, perfect. Okay. So what we're looking at, as I think we're all familiar with, is the Practice Better practitioner portal here. So when you're getting set up for the first time, setting up a program, there are 2 ways you can get there. So in the menu on the left-hand side of your screen, there's a My Programs section, or you can go straight to My Practice at the top of your page, and then the third menu item in the list is My Programs. So we're going to go to My Programs. So these are the 2 programs we're going to see, Fixed Date and Evergreen. So just as a quick reminder, Fixed Date programs are available in the Pro plan and available in the Plus plan. Okay. The Evergreen programs are only available in the Plus plan. So Shelly just gave us the breakdown of the 2, but just to remind you, now that we're seeing the different titles, Fixed Date means everyone's going through the programs together. Evergreen means that so long as they have the link to register, clients can enroll at any time. Okay, so fixed date programs, the content's dripped out on specific dates at a specific time. Evergreen programs, the content's delivered at intervals based on how long it's been since they've enrolled in the program. Okay, it's going to be, it'll be a bit clearer too when we actually see them. So you're going to click on the red button in the bottom right hand corner to create a program. Decide what type of program you want to create. So an evergreen program or a fixed date program. Okay, I'm going to edit this 6-week reset program. Okay, so I can show you as opposed to actually building it while we're talking. So you're going to give a name to your program. You can add a tagline if you'd like. Okay, and add a description. The descriptions are really great ways to sell your program. So some of you may already have a sales page, and that's okay. You could put the description on your sales page. You don't have to use this description here, but it's a great place to just kind of summarize what they're getting with this program. Okay. This again is a fixed date program. So it's going to have it's going to have one specific start date. Everyone who's enrolling in this program is going to start at the same time. So this one's starting on August 5th. Okay, I can change the date, but this one in particular starts on August 5th. Okay, I decide when I want the program to open up. It's going to be at 9 a.m. and the end date, okay, is going to be September 16th. Okay, again, I can change this, right? It could be September 19th or any other date.
So Natalie, will the participants have access to the materials after the end date?
They will. Okay. They will continue to have access, but it just means they're not going to be able to enroll beyond that date. And you can also cut off the registration deadline before if you want. So if you say, hey, you know, I really want everyone who's going through this program to go through it together. I don't want anyone enrolling after we've started, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say, again, it starts on August 5th. So let's say August 5th is my deadline, okay? This maximum enrollments is going to be empty by default. So it means as many people as want to register will be able to, but you can limit it. So if this is a small and intimate group, maybe it's a beta launch or whatever the case might be, you can say, I only want 10 people in here, or I want 100 people, or I want 1,000 people, or whatever. You can put a maximum enrollment restriction here, or you can leave it blank, and that means there is no cap. Okay? So moving down the page, now you have the option. So if you've set up services in Practice Better or packages, this part's going to be very familiar to you. The payment options are the same. So you would set up how much you want to charge for this program, right? So this one I said is $500. You can change your currency. So if you're in the States, you just change it to USD. It's probably already your default if you're in the States. And then you can either, again, hide the fee, display the fee, suggest to pay it. Suggest a pay at booking, which means they have the option, or require them to pay at booking, okay? I'm just gonna leave it at suggest to pay at booking at the moment, but you can require, so they're going to put in their credit card details and pay, they're gonna pay you at the time that they register for this program.
Hey, Natalie?
Yes?
Quick question. So if you update the program with like new research, for example, does it update the fixed date program that's ended or just future programs?
It will update the program that's ended as well. Yes. So you can make adjustments to your program to the modules. The only thing you can't make adjustments to, or you can adjust, but it's only going to be applicable to new people who register, will be your tasks and I believe your forms. Your tasks and your forms. Okay, so if you're updating the content in your modules, that will update for everyone who's already enrolled. But if you're creating a new task or editing the task, only new people registering will see the new revised tasks. Okay. And then when someone registers for your program, you can also choose to send them a welcome email. So here I'm just going to say edit template, but I can say the subject line I wrote, you're in, right? So welcome to, and there's a placeholder, so it will automatically generate the name of my program. So that way, if you want to tweak the name of your program, you don't have to worry about editing the emails as well. And then here for me, I just decided, hey, you know, during these next 6 weeks, these are some of the things we're going to talk about. So that way, you're just kind of you're building a bit more excitement about the program. You're welcoming them to the program and giving them a heads up about what to expect. Okay. That welcome email is optional. Okay, so you can uncheck that box or keep it unchecked. Pardon me, because it will be unchecked by default. So you don't have to send the email out when they register. Advanced options. So you have some of the same features and functionalities that you have in the, in your services and in your packages, but you also have a couple additional service options. Okay, so one is that you can add group chat. Okay, you can add group chat for your program. So if I say enable group chat for this program, I can name my group chat. So I'm just going to say 6-week reset support group, we'll call it that. Okay, and then I can decide how I want my chat to be formatted. So feed is going to be similar to how you would see like a Facebook group flow, right? Direct chat would be more of like what you would see if you're just chatting with someone, okay? So I'll leave it at feed, which is the default. Choose how you want your clients' names to show up for the other participants. Do you want clients to see first name and last initials? Do you want them to see the full first name and last name, or just the first name? So you have a couple options here. And then you can automatically add new enrollments to the chat group, okay, to the group chat, pardon me, okay? So that's one option, and we'll look at what that looks like and how you can support clients using the group chat a little bit later, but I just want to show you that you can set this up when you set up your program so that everyone will be automatically enrolled into the group chat. The other option is down here if you're going to be offering group sessions, right? So if you want to be doing virtual calls for your groups, you can use our Zoom integration to do this. And here you can choose, do you want to automatically add the new enrollees into the upcoming session? Do you want to send the confirmation notifications about the upcoming sessions? And do you want to send the reminder notifications about the upcoming sessions? Okay, so you've got a couple options here. I'm just going to send them all. Okay. And then finally, I know we've got a lot of settings, but the good thing is we set this up once, and then it's set up for every single person who's going to enroll. The other thing is, if you are charging upfront for your program, you can also opt to do a payment plan. So if you want to break down however much you're charging for your program into installments, you can set that up here as well. Okay. All right. So let's go back and save our changes. So here I get this pop-up about adding new clients to the group chat. Now it asks me, because this program was already existed, okay? And this is going to be really good for those of you who already have a Practice Better program going. You're going to get this pop-up that asks you if you would like to add the currently enrolled clients into the group chat as well. So I can say add now, and it's done. They've already been added, or I could say add later, and I can add them manually, okay? So you can still apply the group chat to programs that have already been built in Practice Better prior to that functionality becoming available. All right. Okay, so that's setting up the, sorry, so go ahead, Shelley.
Well, there was a question, and I hear this a lot from users about the beautiful photo at the top, and if you can change that, can you add your own photo? Does it have to be food?
Yeah, good question. So when you're setting up your program details, so where we decided what we wanted to call it, we do have some templated images that you can use. You don't want them to be food, or you don't want them to be any of these images. You can add your own, okay? So you're going to see this little camera to the right of all the other thumbnails, and it will tell you, it'll specify what size we recommend to use for this banner, okay? So the specific pixel sizes should be visible when you just hover over the camera. So yes, you can absolutely change the image.
Great.
All right, let's go back to this one because I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so how are we doing so far? We feel comfortable just with setting up the details around our program, not the content. We're going to get to that right now, but do you feel confident about how to set up a fixed date program and what a fixed date program is? Yes. Perfect. Okay, if at any point it's not clear, please let us know in the chat. All right, so the next thing is now setting up the content for our programs. And we're going to look at what it looks like to set it up, and then we're going to look at what it looks like on the client side. So you guys get an idea of what it looks like when you set up, and then what the clients see. So I've created a few modules here. So I'm going to look at module 1 to begin with. But the red button, as we know by now, is the fast action button and our go-to button. Okay, so that red button in the bottom right-hand corner, you would click the top option that says add module. Okay, I'm just going to, again, I'm going to say edit, just to kind of expedite the process and show you what it looks like. So module 1, you can name it whatever you want. I didn't have anything very exciting to call it, so I called it week 1, but you can call this module, whatever you'd like to call it. And again, you can provide a short description for your client so that they know what's coming up in this module, okay? Let me rewind 1 second, because when you add a module for the first time, okay, I was accessing one that had already been created. But when you're adding a module for the first time, you have two options in terms of how you want that module to be made available. Okay, so the default option, okay, says unlock content at a scheduled date. That means, again, we're talking about fixed date programs. So this means this program starts on August 5th. When do I want module 1 or week 1 to be available? Okay, so maybe I want it to be available on August 5th as well. So I'm just going to say August 5th at, let's just say 10 a.m. I don't know. And so this module is not going to be available to my clients who enroll in this program until August 5th at 10 a.m. So when you're scheduling a module, okay, when you're scheduling a module, you're going to have a few different options in terms of the things that you can include in that module. So you have a content tab at the top. So right under where it says create module, you have an overview tab, which is the page we're already on. You have a content tab where you can add the content for the module. You can include a task, and then you can also include a form or a worksheet, or multiple forms or worksheets, okay? When I change the setting to allow registered clients to access content at any time, the task and worksheet tabs go away, okay? So if you want to make a module available to your client as soon as they enroll in the program, the only option you're going to have is to include content, okay? So just keep that in mind, and then once I save my module, I can't adjust, I can't change the mode of accessibility to the modules. I can change the date as to when I want it to be unlocked, but I can't change the setting, okay? So that's just one thing to keep in mind. I'm gonna go back to week 1 so we can look at actually adding content, adding tasks, and adding worksheets. Does that make sense about the two different modes of how you can make a module accessible? Yes, Lori, glad to know. Yes. Great. Okay. So now let's head back to week 1. So some of this stuff's gonna make a bit more sense now. Okay, so we talked about week 1. That's the title of my module. Here's the description that I've included. And now we understand why this only says unlock content at scheduled date, because this module has already been saved and I can't change that setting. But as I mentioned, I can change the date if I want it, okay? So it's set for August 5th, but I can change to August 6th or September 5th or whatever the case might be. Just like we can do with a program, when someone enrolls in a program, we can send them that welcome email, welcome to the program, thank you for registering, here's what you can expect, that sort of thing. Well, you can also introduce modules that are scheduled to be released. You can also send a welcome email for those modules, okay? So again, if the content's just available from the moment they register, you don't have an option to send out an email introducing it, because it's, as soon as they log in, it's going to be there. So I'm going to edit this one again just to show you, but again, here's week 1. I can tell them, hey, welcome to the program, or welcome to week 1. This week we're really focusing on XYZ, right? Don't forget, tomorrow we have a group call at 6 p.m. or whatever the case might be. You can give them information about what to expect before they actually log in and see the content within Practice Better. So they can click here, view module, and it will take them to Practice Better. They'll log in and they'll be on that page. Okay, so the emails reminding clients to log in and see the new module that's available can all be sent through Practice Better. They don't have to be, okay? You don't have to introduce them with emails, but you do have the option, okay? So now the fun stuff, right? Creating exciting content that's going to keep our clients engaged and help streamline some of your work as well. So Now we click on the content link at the top, right? And this is the content you can build. So we've got a text editor here. So if we see these little icons at the top of the text editor, these are all the different formatting options you have. So I put a couple styles in here so you could see, but you can play around with the color. You can't change the font style, but you can change the font size. You can, bold it, underline it, strike it through, change the colors. So here's a color palette that you can choose from, or add your own color, right? You can play with the alignment. You can add a numbered list or a just bulletin list, okay? You can add links. So if you want to add a link, let me find a link. I have one here. I can show you the two different ways you can add links. So one being, I can click on this link button and I can say, I'm just going to say like, sign up here, because that's all I can think about it. I can think of at the moment, but, and you can, oops, did that wrong. Not what I want to do. All right. Well, you can put your link here and you can change the text over it. Or, which I think is more common, if you want to just show them the video, embed your video, because we get that question a lot, is you can actually just click on the little insert video. So it's the camera. Click on this, paste your link, and click insert. And now the video, which would be hosted on something like YouTube or Vimeo, right? So maybe they're a private video on your YouTube page or your Vimeo page. They can be embedded right into the module. Okay, so you don't have to send them somewhere else to see these videos. And that's as easy as it is. You insert video, paste the link, insert. Now we've got two of them. It's easy. Very easy.
It's like 2 clicks.
Yeah. And some of you might have the files. You might also have the files on hand. It might not be a video that's linked to YouTube or Vimeo. So you also have the option to add the digital file, to the modules by attaching the file from your computer. So click on the red button in the bottom right-hand corner. And then you would just say attach documents, videos, and images. So this here would also be, if you had an MP4 file or you had an audio file, you could attach it to Practice Better, to the module, and it would be able to still be played within the module. It just wouldn't be a link. So you can absolutely embed your Zoom video. So if you're doing Zoom calls with your clients, let's say periodically or weekly or whatever the case might be, and then you say, yeah, don't worry, if you can't join us live, we're going to upload the replay link right into your module so you can watch it at your own convenience, or you can go back and watch it again. So you can definitely add Zoom links here, or, well, it would look like a link, or you can save that upload that Zoom video to YouTube or Vimeo and embed the Vimeo or YouTube link into the page.
So Natalie, there's a question about, can you and a colleague build programs together and share them through Practice Better?
Yeah, not at the moment. Not at the moment. Okay. We are working on being able to share programs in the future. We can't do it just yet, but it's definitely on our roadmap for the near future. So here again, this is like a simple copy paste of an image. So just showing you, you can really make, and don't get distracted by all the red underlined words, but just to show you, you can really make your content come alive, right? And that's the really cool thing. Like sometimes you might have your content that's already built into, a PDF, and that's awesome because you can simply attach it if that's the case. But when you're building it in Practice Better, it's more dynamic. It's easy to go in and update because, as we know, research is always coming out. We're always editing things. We're learning from past groups. You may not want to start from scratch every time. You might just want to go in and make a couple edits, change the images. If it's a new theme, if you're running the detox, in the winter, and now you're running it in the summer. So yeah, so you can play around with the formatting quite a bit. And as I mentioned, if you have the content that's already created outside of Practice Better, you can attach it, right? So again, those audio files, those video files, or handouts. So here, I'm just going to delete this one. And I will show you how easy it is to add. I can say add document, videos, and images. Choose the file from your computer. So this is, again, the same 10-day challenge I just deleted. So by default, you're going to see this option here that says the disable preview is selected. So basically what it's going to look like to a client who's viewing this module is it's going to look like an attachment. Okay? If I unselect this box, it actually means that when the client opens up this module, this PDF is already going to open up. They're not going to have to click on an attachment, and I will show you exactly what that looks like. Okay? And then you can add multiple text fields, right? So if I wanted to break things up, I wanted to put some text at the top, then put my PDF, and then add more text at the bottom. I can add as many text fields as I want, and I can even just rearrange them if I change my mind about which order that they should go in. Okay, so maybe this one goes down here. Okay. Amy has a question about PowerPoints. You can absolutely attach PowerPoints with audio as well, 100%. So it just streamlines your work. I mean, if you're starting to build your program, you can still 100% build it in Practice Better, but I know oftentimes we might have something sitting in our pocket that we've been meaning to use. We had an idea, or we have handouts that we created, and you might not want to remake them. You can just attach them. So let's take a look at adding the tasks and the worksheets, and then we'll take a look at what this is actually going to look like to a client. Okay, so again, this is week 1, module 1. And now if I want to also include tasks for my clients to do. That's why I don't have to remind them all individually. It helps keep them on task, helps keep them accountable. And again, as Shelley mentioned earlier, with tracking someone's progress, you can go in and see, hey, did Mary Smith do her tasks for module 1? Did she complete module 1? Right, so you can, there's a bit of an extra set of accountability or extra accountability, sorry, is what I'm trying to say. So this task, I've just made it simple because we're going to have a group chat with this program. I wrote introduce yourself. So take a minute to introduce yourself to the Reset Community Support Group inside your client portal. So it's a great way to stay connected within the group, ask questions, and get daily support. Okay, but you can say whatever it is you might need them to do. Make a list of what you're going to get at the grocery store this week. Set your goals for the week, your intentions, or whatever the case might be, the tasks. You can create as many as you want, and obviously as specific to whatever you're doing as you want as well. Forms and worksheets. So these are forms or worksheets that you've already built in Practice Better. So under My Practice, and forms and waivers. Okay, so first you build them in the forms and waivers section of Practice Better, and then you would come here and you would just say send more and choose, maybe I want to have them do the 3-day food journal, but everything you created in Practice Better can be reused within your program. Okay, so now this person's going to have the 1 task and the 2 worksheets that go along with this module. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to give you guys an opportunity also to ask questions about, how you feel about building the content in Practice Better. So this is week 1. You always have this preview option, right? So preview your content. And we're going to have 2 videos, which kind of seems, it kind of seems a bit silly, but anyways, here are the 2 videos that I embedded, and here's the link, right? So if you have a link that you're just putting in here, then it's going to look like a link. But if you embed a video from YouTube or Vimeo, it's going to look like this. And if you actually have the digital file, it will open up in a player. And then we have the rest of our content. So this is what it looks like to a client who would be receiving this program. Okay. And as I mentioned, that PDF that I had already created. So here's my 10-day challenge. Oh, they can go through. And it still really looks nice, professional, and streamlined for your clients. So they're not having to download all of these PDFs to print them out and have them on their computer, they can still have them in a really nice, organized, and clean fashion. Okay.
Natalie?
Yeah.
A good question here about, can you use the same worksheet for every module, asking them to add to what they've eaten to each module? So basically, will that form save at the end of module 1 and be available in module 2, et cetera, et cetera?
It would be different forms. So you would add it to each module, and then they would have a clean, like they would have a brand new fresh form to fill out for module 2.
Okay.
Yeah. And then at the bottom, you don't have the details of the task here, but you would have them on the client side. But then you see the task that they have to do. You could assign a due date and a reminder date for the task if you wanted to. And then they have the forms that they have to complete as well. All right. That was a PDF that I uploaded. So this is a PDF up here. There was question, okay, can't you use the food journal separately throughout the program? Absolutely. So using the food and mood journal, if you choose to give clients access to that, it is a separate, I mean, it's still within the same platform, but they're not doing it from within the program. So you can choose to give your participants access to the food and mood journal or not. Maybe you also, another option might be, Shelley talked about upselling your services, your programs before. Maybe you have a package that gives them access to the program and one-on-one sessions, and then those participants or those clients get access to the food and mood journal, and not those who don't have that one-on-one coaching with you. So there are a few different ways you can do it, but you don't have to give anyone access to the food and mood journal just because you're giving them access to the portal. I hope that helps. I don't think I can click complete on this side. It will just, let's try. No, I'll show you on the client side. Basically what it would look like if I clicked on complete on the client side is it would take them to what looks like their task, where they could enter, they can type any information back to or mark it as complete. And on the client side, when I click on the form, it would just take them directly to that form. All right, is there a way to waive a fee of a program for certain individuals who are using the program as an upsell with another package? You can actually, that's a great question. So let me just go back one step. So you can register clients at any time. So there are a couple ways you can do that. So one is you can actually just have this, you have this share link button up here. You can get the registration link to share with a client, and I'm just going to say visit page so you get an idea as to what this looks like. It would look something like this. So very similar to what your services or packages, bookings pages would look like, okay? And if you have provided a description for your modules, those descriptions would also be available here. So this is the way you would get someone to register and pay on their own. But if you just want to register someone yourself, you would come in, you would say register client. You can choose one or multiple clients. So let's say I want to put Jennifer Smith into this program, and this totally bypasses the payment option, or the payment portion, I should say, of the registration. So you can register someone, and Jennifer Smith didn't have to pay there. I hope that makes sense. Let me just see. All right, how's everyone doing? Luca, yes, you can give clients discounts on programs. You can do that by creating a coupon code. So you can go under the billing and payments. It used to be invoice and payments. Billing and payment section, and you can create a coupon here. So if a client is paying the full amount on the program, they can enter the coupon code to get a reduced rate. Alternatively, if you're registering the client yourself, you can register them and then send them an invoice for a discounted amount.
So Natalie, another question. What or why do you recommend, so basically the link, embedding the link file versus just putting a link, like why would you do one or the other?
Um,
Have a link if you want them to go out to somewhere else versus having a video open, having something open within the module. But like,
oh, yeah. I mean, it really comes down to personal preference. There's no right or wrong way. I personally like to keep everything in one place as much as possible. So I think and it's also, I think, a bit more visually appealing to come into the module and to see.
Well, especially if you want them to watch it, like, before they look at the other content, but you might have links where it's more of a resource for later. Like if you here, you can go here, here's a resource to look at later.
Right. Maybe something that's not necessarily as important. Like if we're coming into this module, especially if you're doing like a 6-week program, especially if you're doing like an evergreen program where you're not necessarily leading the group through the program, you might have an introductory video to each module where you're actually teaching them through the video, right? Or introducing the content to them through the video. So you really wouldn't want them to miss that, because the link is, maybe they'll say, oh, I see the link, you can make it bigger. Maybe they say, oh, I see the link, I'll come back to that later. Maybe you really want them to start with that. It's just more prominent if it's actually if it's actually embedded in here. And again, if you were doing a video that you had the digital file for, you could put that at the top. You could drag it to the top so it was before any of the text that you write.
Great.
All right. Cool. All right. So the other one here is the first module I put at the top was a module that's just unlocked as soon as they register. Okay. So again, this is just an example of the second option, which is not to release the content on a scheduled date. It just is making the content available to them at the time of registration. So under content, I here just wrote a little bit of text, and then I put this kitchen clean out guide. So I want them to go through this kitchen clean out guide ahead of the start of the program. So maybe they registered on August 1st, right? They would get this content on August 1st, even though module 1 would only, week 1 would only be delivered on August 5th. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what that looks like, but just to bring your attention again, when the content is available from the time of registration, there is no option for a task and no option for worksheets. So this is good for, hey, let's get ready for the program, or it's great if you just want to have like a resource module where you're just continuing to add content throughout the program. So let me just show you what this one looks like. So I'm prepping for the 6-week reset program. And again, this is it's actually a doc. But here, just to show you how nice and clean it looks. Right, so again, you're not worrying about them not opening up the attachments or missing the attachments. You can choose to open them up right away, and you can make it, by default, they can download the documents that you're attaching, but you can make it so that they can't. So there's a question about, is the message feature disabled for these programs? So yeah, the default is that there is no group messenger available for the program. You have to specifically add it. In terms of the one-on-one messaging, that's a setting that you would have created under your messaging settings. So you would have decided, do you want people to have access to the messenger by default or not? So that's a great, well, just while we're on that topic, someone can have access to the group chat and not have access to individual chats. So there is a differentiation. You don't have to give access to both chats. They could have access to one or the other, or both, or none. What's the best place to add bonus modules when you don't want to go into too much detail? How would you do that? probably do something like this, a module that's just open at all times, and then just go in and refresh it as I have new things, and just tell your client, hey, don't forget to, keep an eye on on your resources module or bonus module, as I will be adding new stuff to it. Do you agree with that, Shelley? No.
Oh, sorry. I was
Shelley fell asleep.
No, I'm answering questions. I don't want you to hear the pounding on my keyboard.
Oh. Yeah. Do you have another idea in terms of how to add bonus modules?
So modules where they don't go into as much detail.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would just add them at the end, you know, and just like, depending if you want them to be looking at, leave them open or have them open at the end, so like they can, wait till they not get distracted.
Right. And you can change the order of your modules, right? So if this prepping here were my bonus module, like I can put it at the bottom, or I can put it at the top if I want that to be the first thing they see when they come in.
Or, sometimes you might have bonus material for each module that, is kind of optional for people that have more time and they want to go deeper, and you could just have that be another module that opens like at the same time as the module, but it's kind of separate for people,
Yeah, you could, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I understood this correctly, but you could go to the module, add another text section, and just say like bonus material, or like going further, or optional material. And is that your suggestion, Shelley?
It depends if you want to have like people that have more time that really want to dive in, and maybe they have bonus, like you have tasks and worksheets that they can do. If that were the case, you would have to have a separate module. But if it's just bonus material, like a handout or links to videos or articles that then you could put it in the same module, but just at the bottom.
Right. So like that optional content.
Yeah.
So depending on what you meant, hopefully those suggestions are helpful.
Yeah, I think bonus content, I love it because I think everybody has different, some people just are dying, like they're sponges and they just want everything, and other people just don't have the give me what I absolutely need to know, but I just don't have time to be watching, half-hour videos and things like that.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. All right. So the modules, so now we built this program. Now you can also add, if you want to be going and offering accountability sessions or check-in sessions with your group, you can also include sessions, right? So on the left-hand side of your fixed date programs, okay, in your fixed date programs, you'll see schedule a session, okay? So you can do your group scheduling. So the first step would have been you go into my practice and my services, and you would set up a group service there, okay? So now I've set up my group services. I have 2 group services I want to choose from. I'm going to choose this weekly accountability session. This is the one I want to offer to everyone in my 6-week reset program. Everyone who's already enrolled in this program is going to be listed here. Okay, so I can just add them all at the same time. I choose the time. So let's say I want to do this at 7 p.m. Okay, again, we're talking about my time zone, right? I can add a buffer time if I want to make sure that none of my one-on-one calls are, going to be affecting my group call. So maybe I'm going to put a buffer time before this to make sure no one's booking within that 60 minutes before my group session. And then you're going to choose how the session is going to be available, like in person, by phone, likely it's probably in person or group online session. And if you're using the video option, you're going to have to use Zoom, okay? So you'll use Zoom. You'll have to either link your Zoom account. If you already have a Zoom account, you can link it under third-party integrations, okay? Or if you need a Zoom account, and especially a HIPAA-compliant Zoom account, you can purchase that through Practice Better. It's $30 for up to 300 participants, okay? And that one's the HIPAA compliant one. So either one, whether you're bringing your own Zoom account or you need one, you can use Zoom here, okay? And now I'm going to confirm my session. So now if we go to my sessions tab up here, I'm going to see I had already set some of these up, but I'm going to see all of the group sessions scheduled for this program. So now my clients or my participants, as they enroll into this program, they're automatically going to be enrolled into each of these sessions. So when it comes time, this is also going to be available in your bookings, right? So if you go to bookings and you see your session for the day, just click on Start Zoom Meeting. I can't do it because I'm already using Zoom, so I don't want to ruin our call. But you can launch the Zoom meeting, right? You can reschedule it, so if you need to make any changes to the time. And you can also take a look at the different options available within that group session. So here I can see everyone who's attending, right? They can confirm. If someone's canceled, it will show me who's canceled, okay? And then I can also, after the fact, mark someone as a no-show. Okay, so if they didn't come to their group session, they said they were going to come to, I can mark them as a no-show after the fact. Here's the details of my group session. So I can copy the Zoom invite if I needed to. Maybe I want to remind my group, and we'll talk about the group chat in just a minute, but if I want to say, hey, don't forget we're jumping on our weekly call in 30 minutes or in 10 minutes or in 5 minutes, you can just paste this link right into your group chat to remind everyone. But they will get the reminders, don't worry, and it's all available from their client portal. On the right-hand side, you have different options, right? So you can cancel the session altogether. You can export the attendee list if you wanted that list. You can share the registration link to this particular group session. You can send everyone in the session form. So if you're like, oh, actually, you know what? I just created this awesome form, and I think you guys should, I really want you to fill this out ahead of our session. You can send them everyone a form at the same time or multiple forms. Send them another reminder and send them a broadcast. So the broadcast is optional. It's available on the Plus plan. So a broadcast is kind of like sending a message to multiple people at once. So if I click on send a broadcast, it's going to, here I'll just say, just session update. I could do this just by updating the session and they would get it, but I'm lacking some creativity here. So there are two ways you can send a broadcast message. One is through direct chat, okay, so the secure messenger that you see in my bottom right-hand corner. The other way is through email, okay, so you can do it one or the other, or you can do it in both fashions, okay, so I'm just gonna say direct chat and email. I can choose to send it out right now, or I can schedule it, okay? Then the next page, I'm already going to see everyone who's enrolled in this group session. They're already all pre-selected. They're the only ones on the list because those are the only people registered. I'm gonna say next. If I want to take someone off the list, I could. And now here I'm gonna write my message for my direct chat. So quick note about our upcoming session, okay? Leave it at that. I'm just going to copy this. And then on the next page is where you would decide what you want the email to say, because the email could say something different. You have a couple more formatting options when you're sending and broadcast via email. Just going to copy paste the same text everywhere just to expedite the process a little bit. Next, I see who's going to get the emails and the chat messages and send. Okay, so it tells me it's been created, got it, and it's done. Now I've just notified everyone coming to this session about something that was important. Okay. Can you show reminder? Yeah, I can send a reminder here. I can choose who I want to receive the reminder for this session. And then based on your defaults, so when you set up a service, you can also modify the reminder emails, what they're going to look like. So those reminder emails is what would be sent here. A task, I think I can remind them about a task without changing the date if it has elapsed. Will they get notified? Group chats do send notifications. Sorry. You can send a reminder, yes. You can send a reminder via broadcast. Is that what you mean? And group chats do get notifications. I was using tasks with a reminder. Okay, yes, so you can send the reminder via the task as well. So, yeah, sorry. Group chats get notifications. So you can decide what clients are going to get notified for. Okay, so just kind of recapping here, because I know I'm throwing so much information out at you guys, and we've got a lot that we want to show you today. But what we have covered, and we'll reinforce it, but what we have covered is, and we'll still look at the group chat, that will be pretty quick, but what we have looked at is, a way to basically streamline the onboarding and registration of a program, right? So you can set up your program, you can allow clients to enroll on their own, you can allow them to pay at the time of registration, you can send the welcome email to them when they enroll successfully, right, when they enroll. You can then create the content for your program, right? So that can be a combination of videos, images, you can create tables in there, play around with the formatting, and add your own resources. So you can add external resources, whether those be, digital files, like digital video files, or audio files, or PDFs, and all of that sort of thing. Then you can also help keep your clients accountable. You can also add tasks to each module, right? That's scheduled to be released, and worksheets. So now I hope we're showing you successfully the number of things that you can do to help your clients be successful as they go through your programs, but from one place, instead of having to manage all of these things, which we've traditionally had to manage in multiple applications.
Natalie, what if you have clients who you don't want them on the platform, or they don't have access to the platform? So running maybe an email only program?
Yes, actually, yes, that's a great point. See, there are lots of things that sometimes I forget about.
Yeah, I mean, so email only programs are helpful. Just if you just want to send out an email, and you won't be able to attach files, but you could include a link if you're using like Google Drive or Dropbox. So if you have recipes or meal plans or handouts that are part of the program, but it's an email only, so they're not going to be actually logging into Practice Better. So that's a great option.
Yeah.
I'll show you real quick how you do that.
Yeah, so you would still set up your modules the same way if you were doing this. Let's just start a new one here, this is pretty quick. But like Shelly said, if you were doing an email only program, you don't need them to log in. You just want to send out emails, schedule emails, and send them out. You would say unlock the content at a scheduled date, choose the date, and then where it says send a welcome email, you would just put the content in here, put the links that you want to put. So if the links go to a Google Drive, sorry, I don't know why that was so difficult for me to say, but if the links go to like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet or whatever the case might be, you would put all the content here, put the links, and then you would just disable this view module option.
So you would click that. Yeah.
So here it says hide the view module button. So because now if I have this view module button, when someone clicks, it's going to take them to Practice Better, right? But if you don't need them to go to Practice Better, you would just hide this module button. And then that's it. They have all the content they need scheduled at the correct intervals, so scheduled at the intervals that you've set them to be delivered on. And the same goes for an evergreen program, okay?
Yeah, because you may have like a weekly module that would have content, attachments, tasks, worksheets. But then if you wanted to send, a daily inspirational email, you do this for the days in between. then have them log in on the weekly basis to access the materials.
Correct.
That's kind of a hybrid version.
Correct. So let's just go take a look at the group chat really quickly. I think we got through most of the heavy lifting. So now that we've put the program into, hopefully we've made it a bit more digestible for you. I still know there's a lot of information, but hopefully we've made it more digestible for you. Let's look at the group chat. And then I'll show you how to reuse the content quickly and just show you really quickly what the evergreen programs look like. Evergreen programs are essentially the same thing. Okay, so once you know how to build a program practice better, whether it be a fixed date or an evergreen, they work the same way, but I will show you the little differences. So feed here in the top, right underneath the name of your program, you see overview, module, sessions, enrollment. So this is your list of clients here. Actually, this is a really good point. This is really something we want to bring your attention to. So it's a good idea to go in and take a look at your enrollments, right? People who've enrolled into your program, and make sure everyone has access. Because remember, they need access to practice better, okay? They need to have a login. They need to have activated their account in order to log in and see their content, unless it's an email-only program, okay? So if I come to enrollment, everyone above this orange line or orange section has not activated their account. So you know that Diane Thier and John Doe have not been, you know, checking in and doing their program. So I can resend them the invite, okay? So this is really important. You want to make sure if you have a program that requires them to have access to the portal, that they have activated their account. You can also click on the 3 dots here. If you wanted, you know, you can see their progress. These people obviously don't really have any progress because they don't have access to the portal. So these guys down here would be a better example, but I can unlock all the modules for them if I wanted to. Maybe they started the program late and I want to unlock all the modules for them. I can resend the confirmation email. There's a couple options here. So while I'm on this topic, I know I keep saying we're going to group chat, but one thing that's really important for your programs is that in your automation, so under My Practice, you have this automations function, okay, towards the bottom of the page. And in the automations option, we're going to click the red button in the bottom right-hand corner, okay, it says add invite new clients. So this is a must in your setup for your program, okay? So you would say, I'm just going to say program, I don't know, I'm just going to say program add because I can't think of anything else. Program add clients. Sounds terrible, but you have to say give clients access to the client portal. Okay, you don't have to choose to give them access to the journals. You can if you want. And then you have to make sure that you're triggering this when they register for a program. Okay, so you can go ahead and enable this for all of your programs, which I would suggest. This means when a client registers that they're going to be prompted to set up their account in Practice Better so they can log in and see the program that they've just purchased. Okay, so this is a must-do step. So auto add clients, so add new clients automatically. So you need to give them access to the client portal for them to access the programs that you've put together for them. Okay, don't forget that step. All right, now we're actually getting to the chat. Okay, so back to my 6-week reset program. So we've got feed up here under the name of my program, and here's the group chat. Now it looks a little uneventful because I just created it at the beginning of our webinar today, but I'll show you one that has content in it, and the group chat would be available right here, like on this page where we see 6-week reset group. Okay, it's also going to be available in your messenger in the bottom right hand corner. So these programs, we're talking about them specifically for programs today, but they can be run independent of programs. So if you just have clients who have a similar goal, you can absolutely enroll. You can create as many group chats as you want, and invite your clients to join that group chat. So they can be run independent of programs. Today we're talking about programs. So just showing you what these chats look like. This one is the feed model, the feed format that we talked about that's similar to something like a Facebook chat. So you can add images, you can add links, you can add attachments. If this attachment or this, let's say this image gets a bit more exciting to look at, I can pin it to the top of my page. So when my clients come in, that's going to be the first thing that they see. So if there's something that you want to tell everyone about, you can tell them about it and then pin it to the top to make sure everyone sees it. And once you're confident everyone's seen it, you can just unpin it if you'd like. Okay? So you can also change the image. So you only have a few options for the image for the group chat at the moment, because it's just that thumbnail is really hard to get the right look because it's just so tiny. So you only have a couple options for these at the moment. Okay. But again, the group chats can be run independent of programs.
So Natalie, we have a question. This is so cool, the feed. Could this replace a paid Facebook support group? Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the piece is, one, it's HIPAA compliant. Two, it's where your clients are already going to get their support from you. And three, it just means they don't have to go to another platform, because Facebook's great. Most people are, I mean, a lot of people, I guess most people are on it, but not everyone's on it. So yes, you can absolutely replace your Facebook group. Okay, so two last things I want to say. I know I keep saying we're coming to the end, but two last things. One is you've created your fixed date program. Let's say I did a New Year, New You reset program, okay, in January, and now I want to use that content again. I can duplicate my program, okay? So 3 dots to the side of your program, duplicate, and now I'm changing the name of it, changing the start date, changing the end date. Okay, so I'm just going to say new program. Okay, I'm going to change the dates and say this one's from October 7th to, too far, November 11th. Okay, and say duplicate. And then my modules will be duplicated, and all you'll have to do is go in and adjust the dates that you want them to be released. And of course, the content. If you're doing a seasonal detox, you might want to change the images up a little bit, or add new resources or that sort of thing in case the same people are coming back into the program. But you don't have to, right? But it's all going to be, let me just show you quickly. This is my new program, right? All the details are the same, but you can edit them. If I want to change my price, if I want to change my welcome email, right? Just tweak the modules so you're not having to start from scratch. Now, the other thing, which is really cool, is sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes we run our programs, like our signature programs, as a beta. Sometimes we run them, to get some feedback, and then once we've run them multiple times and we're confident with the content, it doesn't change too much, maybe you're going to start offering it as an evergreen program. So now I don't have to only copy the content into another fixed date program. I can actually duplicate the content and create my evergreen program as well. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to call it I'm going to make it into an evergreen program. Decide what's the duration. So this one's going to be 2 months, let's just say, and duplicate that. And now this is my evergreen program. So evergreen program setup looks exactly the same as a fixed date. You can, you can add a welcome email that's going to go out when someone enrolls in your program. Under advanced options, you can enable the group chat as well. Okay, and then you can also do payment plans and that sort of thing if you'd like. So this is what we're looking at. It's an evergreen, looks exactly the same, except it tells me it's 2 months long. And now the content, this is the only difference in the evergreen program, is that instead of the content saying deliver it on August 5th, we're saying deliver 1 day after they enroll. Or if you want the content to go out the same day and you want the option of using tasks and worksheets, you can say deliver 1 minute after the client enrolls. Okay, so if I said make this available from the minute they register, the option again of tasks and worksheets will disappear. Remember? But if I say unlock, right? You can, especially with the evergreen, you can say unlock it 1 minute after they enroll, and now all of a sudden they have the options for tasks and worksheets. Because by the time they log in, right, that module is already going to be released. So it's going to be available, okay? So go back to content. Everything is exactly the same setup here, because we just duplicated this, okay? The tasks could change if you wanted to, but they can stay the same. And again, you have the same forms and worksheets. So all of this was duplicated. I didn't have to do anything else. But the important piece is really about how the only thing that differs between fixed date and evergreen is the delivery model. So week 1, I say I want it to go out 1 minute after the client enrolls. Week 2, let's say I want it to go out 8 days after the client enrolls, right? Or 4 weeks, so if the content's monthly, right? So you can change it to weeks or months. You can, again, decide the time. And just when you're saving your modules, save it as a draft. If you don't want clients who are enrolling into the program to see the modules that are not yet finished, they won't see it until it's actually released, but they will see the title of the module ahead of time. So if you're not quite sure what you want to call it yet, you're still working on the title or working on the description, you can save it in draft so it's not going to be visible to any clients. Once you want to make it visible, the title in the description, you would say save and publish, and the description and the title will be available to clients who enroll even before the content's actually unlocked. Okay? All right. So I'm like, I need a sip of water. So yeah, so we threw a ton of content, a ton of information out at you. But how are you feeling? How are you feeling about, one, what a program would look like visually and how it might support your clients in practice better? And 2, how are you feeling about, just how you would structure your programs? Does it give you a bit of clarity about how you would structure yours? So many ask, is this all include our monthly fee? So the fixed date programs is included in the Pro plan and the Plus plan. Okay. So in the Pro plan, you'll be able to do groups. You'll be able to do group programs for fixed date. You'll be able to do group chat. You can do your group sessions as well. The only thing that I think that we talked about that you won't be able to do in the Pro plan is the broadcast messaging. I believe that's the only thing that we touched on today that's not available. Everything we've talked about is available in the Plus plan. Okay, so feeling excited, overwhelmed with information. Oh, I hope you go back, Francesca, and I hope it feels a little bit less overwhelming once you've had some time to kind of think about it and have a bit of time away from it. But I hope it definitely helps. Jane, really enthusiastic, great amount of options. We'll be starting to set up a program next week. That's so exciting. Mandy says, great. Chase says, this sounds great. Yes, clarity. Not sure how I will release / implement it yet. Want to make sure that I have everything set up right. Absolutely. The good thing is, as we talked about, is you can tweak these, right? You can continue to build them. And this is just from my own personal experience and working with so many practitioners as well. It doesn't have to be perfect if you're just launching the first time. Don't wait till it's perfect. Put it out there, get the feedback from your clients, what they like, what they'd like to see more of, and then you'll continue to tweak your programs for the first handful of launches, and sometimes you might just never finish tweaking it because you get really great feedback from your clients, every group of clients.
So here's a question. Is there a way to archive or otherwise hide unused programs so they don't show up on your practice homepage? So you don't have to, like if they're not active and you don't want to delete them, you don't have to put those, those do not have to show up if you create like a custom booking page.
Oh, I think she's talking about the homepage here.
Okay.
No, there's not a way to archive them yet. On the client side, I believe they're only going to see what's current, like what they're actually enrolled in at the moment. But it's definitely something we can chat about. That's a good point, because if you're starting to duplicate programs and run different programs over and over again, then it might get a bit much. I think it caps out at 3 or 4 on the homepage, but good point. We'll definitely look into that. Rachel says, I'm so grateful for the coaching call today. Thank you. Gained confidence to create and advertise my first program. Awesome. I'm so happy to hear it. You know, Shelly and I are going to say this on most of our calls, but definitely take the time to test it out. When you're launching a program, run yourself through it, or maybe ask a family member or friend to go through it as well and get some of their feedback. It just gives you even more confidence to know exactly what the flow is going to be like for your client.
Yeah, and then there's a question about how to collect feedback about the program from clients. You can definitely, you know, create a survey or a feedback questionnaire and attach that at the end in the last module, or just have, you know, a module that's kind of a wrap up and then attach that questionnaire or survey in that module. Would be a great
one. Mandy asks, can FullScript be integrated for some base supplements to go into a program? Not yet. But this is something we are talking to FullScript about. This is definitely something we want to include in our program. It's not yet possible, but we are definitely working on it because we agree it would be a fantastic addition for those of you who are working with supplements. I agree. Can this be used as a test client to see what it looks like and how it works? 100%. Absolutely. Let's see what else we got in here. And also too, I know we're going to try to get to as many of these questions as we can. I know some of you submitted your questions ahead of time, so thank you. Let us know if we didn't answer them as well. Shelly and I will take another 5-10 minutes to try to run through some of these. Shelly, you got one?
I'm looking. Okay. Is there a landing page of sorts for a sign-up page? So like a sample registration page?
Yes, so there's that registration page. I think we talked about it quickly, but I'll show you again. So if we go into our program, sorry, I used the bottom, and you click on the 3 dots next to your program, you say share registration link. So you can put this onto a sales page, you can put it onto your website, or just share the link, let's say, with your whole email list. Okay, and you can say visit page, and then this is similar to what it's going to look like. Okay. Lucas says, I've been practicing one-on-one in person for 5 years now. And I'm just moving to doing all online in order to have, not have to, repeat material. I can really see the functionality of this portal if I take the time to set it up properly, how it will be in the great benefit. Thank you. That's awesome. And that's a really great point. You know, we may have touched upon in the beginning, but the Evergreen program is really fantastic, especially if you wanted to just support your one-on-one clients. I know we touched on it really quickly, but Shelly's got a really great way of using that. Do you want to talk about Evergreen programs for one-on-one support?
Yeah, so as a health coach, I just found over time that I was repeating I was doing so much educating on just the foundations. People would come, they had no idea about nutrition, what are macronutrients, why do I need to clean out my pantry? And I realized I wasn't actually coaching as much. That's what I really want to do. So I built, you know, a program or a course that they would go through, you know, during the 3 months or the 6 months that I was working with them. So it kind of, you know, I built it once and then everybody could go through it, saved me a lot of time. I mean, sure, they're still going to ask questions, but they would be learning and engaged between the sessions. And then I felt like when they came to the session, they were more prepared. I did way more coaching. It really saved me a lot of time and it kept them more engaged and they felt like they were getting more.
Yeah. So. I love that suggestion. And we have a lot of practitioners doing that. And I agree. It's you're going to notice, right? As you continue to work with the same type of clients, you're just talking about the same things over and over again. So sometimes it can be limiting in your sessions. You can't dive deep enough because you're working on, you know, some of the basics. So like Shelly mentioned, you put all the basics into an evergreen program and you give someone access to those as they start working with you, then they can have that educational material at their disposal and you can really focus your one-on-one time with them and dive a bit deeper. Sorry, go ahead, Shelly.
She totally agrees in that this program has been transforming. So that's awesome.
That's awesome. Adair asks, can you provide examples of how to collect feedback about programs from clients? Yeah, I don't have specific questions. I mean, I can, I don't have any like thought through is what I'm trying to say. But what I would suggest is you can create a form in Practice Better. You can create a form that you would probably attach to the last module, right? That just says like program feedback or something like that. Maybe you ask them about things like what did they love in the program, right? What did they wish you had that they had more of? So maybe their answers are going to be recipes, or maybe their answers are going to be, if you do every other week accountability calls or coaching calls, maybe they say I'd like weekly, or you know, whatever the case might be. You can just ask them, kind of give them a couple prompts like, what did you love? You know, what do you wish there was more of? What could I improve upon? Would you recommend this to someone else? So it'd be a really great way to ask them to give you some feedback would be through a form.
Yeah,
and like I said,
another idea there would be if you're trying to gauge how much they learned, if it's about like learning and you have a form that has scales on it, or it's somehow there's scores on it, and then you do the same form at the same assessment at the beginning and the end, just to measure their knowledge at the beginning and their knowledge at the end.
Right.
And so
more of like a progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Mandy asks, can you tell us about the transaction fees you charge people for group coaching access? Is it a percentage of the sale plus a transaction fee, or a percentage? I'm unclear. Do you mean how Practice Better charges people, or just or are you talking about what other practitioners do? In terms of Practice Better, we don't charge anything additional other than the Stripe or Square transaction fees. Practice Better doesn't charge anything else. In terms of what other practitioners are doing, that's such a loaded question. And I don't think I'm the best person to answer that one for you, unfortunately.
So Sherry's kind of a follow-up to the survey form. What does the form look like? Is it something they can type into? So Sherry, this is just the same forms that you're using in the form builder for intakes, progress, you know, all of that. You just build, and you can call it a survey, you can call it a questionnaire, but you're going to build it the same way that you would build any form in Practice Better. And then in the module, most likely at the end, you're going to go to forms and worksheets, and you'll see it in the drop down, and you can just attach it.
Yeah.
So they'll fill it out online.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah. So it's really easy for them to fill out. And again, they don't have to go anywhere else. There's a question about running yourself through the program. So you would set yourself up as a test client. So that means you in your practitioner account, you add yourself as a test client using your personal email address. So for your practitioner account, you're likely using your business email address. You probably have a personal email address that you can use and tie to your test client. And so that test client can enroll in the program and, you know, go through it and You can use it from the website. You can also use it from the mobile app. So that's another really cool piece, is that what we talked about today, we looked at it from a desktop view, but all this stuff is available in the mobile app as well. So Ellen says, thank you so much. I've been waiting on clarification on uploading already created program, 2 modules on Practice Better. So I hope we answered that question, Ellen, and that you saw it was very easy to just attach their files right from your computer. Can we accept international payments? Yes, there shouldn't be any limitations on that, I hope. But basic, I mean, anything that Stripe and Square accepts, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. We have practitioners regularly taking international payments using our payment processing through Stripe and Square. So I don't see any issues with that. Very helpful, Zana says. Wow, this is amazing. Jen says, I can't wait to see the replay and take more avid notes. Thank you, thank you. I know we talked a lot, and so I'm just so glad you guys are all still here. No one's sleeping, everyone's so engaged. And like, we knew this was gonna be a hot topic, as we mentioned at the beginning, but we're always blown away by how engaged you guys are. So yeah, thank you so much. Okay, PowerPoint's embedded nicely as PDF, yes. Let's see if we can go through some of these really quickly. Do we get notifications from the feed chat? Yes. In your little gear in the top right corner, settings and preferences, under telehealth and messaging, you can actually specify what messages or notifications you want, pardon me, for the group chat. Where is this? Oh, chat messaging, I think. I have to find where it is. I have to find where it is. I'll put it in the email. So I don't want to be wasting your time looking for this. But yes, you can decide what notifications you're going to get, whether you get notifications that you are only mentioned in. So clients can do like the @ sign and tag you in a comment or a post. And you can do the same for the participants in your group chat, or you can be notified of everything that happens in your group chat. Basically, you're going to get a little number up here in your notifications cell. At the top here, above the general notifications, it'll tell you how many group notifications you have. And you can go directly to those and see a detailed breakdown of the group notifications, or you can go directly into the group chat as well. So you will get notifications.
Can you delete a client's message on the feed if it's not appropriate?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully you don't get too many of those.
Yeah, hopefully not. And you can unregister people, and of course people can unregister themselves if they don't want to partake in the group chat as well. Can people register for the program directly from the landing page? Yes. There's just it's going to be exactly like a service or a package. So they're going to see the details, they're going to click next, and then they're going to give you their details here. So here's Mary, oops, sorry, I pressed the button. I don't know what I did. So here they're going to say Mary Smith, for example. Mary Smith. The phone number is required. The next page, if payment is required, here is where they would enter their credit card details and pay. I'll say pay later. I don't really want to charge myself $500. And then here's where they're going to confirm their details are correct and register. Okay. What does a form look like? Oh, I think you answered this one already. I think I'm going over some of the ones you already had, Shelley. Believe the content share is going to be delivered in your time zone. I believe that's where it is. I lost my place. All right.
What about the creating a Zap? Can you trigger a Zap if somebody registered for the program?
Yes, so we have an integration with Zapier. So if you have your own email marketing platform, because Practice Better does not replace your email marketing platform, you can create a Zap, like Shelly just mentioned. So when someone enrolls in your program, they get added to a specific list in your email marketing platform, which can be, then they can go through whatever sequence you've set up for that list. So that would be another great way of either giving them additional support throughout the program, or even timing it. If you know that they're enrolled in a 6-week program, maybe the emails that come through the email marketing platform, you know, start towards the end of those 6 weeks, or maybe week 5, so they start getting content and information about your next program. All right. All right. So if you guys, we're going to cut it off there. If you have any other questions, because I know we could talk about this stuff for hours still. If you have any other questions, send us an email at help@practicebetter.io. Our customer, Shelly, can you type that in the chat? Our customer support team they are all really well versed on programs and the variety of ways that people use programs in their practice. So you can feel free to ask them any questions that you have. We will send the replay out for this deep dive tomorrow. We'll give you all the links to the help articles for the features and the functions that we've talked about today. So you have everything in one consolidated list. And we will send you, if you missed the email address, I hope Shelly put it already. We'll also give you the email address to email our team if you have any questions about setting up your program. Really, please don't hesitate to email us. We love to help and support you get things set up properly so you can be using the system to the best, or optimizing your use of the system.
Awesome.
All right. All right, have a fantastic day. We will see you guys very soon. And there's a short survey at the end when we close out the Zoom. So let us know if there's any other topics you want to hear about, right? Let us know what you guys want to learn more about, and we will definitely schedule those for one of our other deep dives.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.